lot of us play video games to de-stress from our hectic lives, but sometimes it is not a smart choice. Some levels and bosses can be so difficult you become infuriatingly frustrated. Luckily, through practice or a secret, there is a way to easily get past some of these aggravating challenges. Here are 10 of the hardest video game levels and how to beat them easily. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our awesome videos and click that bell to become part of our notification squad. Slippery Climb, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot, the little red fox with a big attitude, is a platformer which was popular with gamers of all ages. It had simple and easy controls which allowed almost anyone to pick up and play the game. It's no surprise when the original game was released way back in '96, it was developed to be a family game. Surely a family game should be relatively simple to play for everyone, right? Even your grandma should be able to play a family game. Well, the game's 20th level was enough to completely ruin these plans on its own. A level surely spawned in hell, Slippery Climb was something which required an unholy amount of skill and timing. This sadistic stage consists of moving platforms, spikes, birds, shape-shifting staircases, and mad scientists. Every move had to be weighed, measured, and timed to perfection. What's even worse is there is only one checkpoint in the entire level. Even though it is a family game, I don't think many children can complete this level. Want a tip? Well, to put it simply, don't rush. Plan every move. Always take into consideration the next move and get your timing down. Make sure you have a rag nearby because you will be sweating. RADEC. KILLZONE 2. After fighting your way through the Visari Palace, which is hard enough level on its own, you reach the final boss fight of the game with RADEC, leader of the Hellghast. Before you face him, RADEC sends his minions to do his dirty work. While you're fighting the Hellghast, RADEC remains at the back of the room taking shots at you. If you fire at him, he won't die. You'll just disappear for a while. What a coward. He then orders his men to drop the palace's chandeliers on you, so you have these balls of glass falling from the sky while fighting with some tough enemies. Many of the Hellghast are wielding RPGs, and your partner Rico is constantly requiring revival. Trying to revive Rico will often put you out of position and leave you open for an attack. When you finally get to fight RADEC, he can make himself invisible, and if he gets you twice, you'll die and start over. This boss is a different kind of hell. A simple tip is to focus on reviving Rico no matter how many times it takes. The Hellghast will then have 2 people to concentrate on instead of just you, so you can put your effort into taking out RADEC. SEPHIROTH, Kingdom Hearts. The main antagonist of Final Fantasy VII and one of the most iconic villains in all of gaming, Sephiroth, is the toughest challenge in Kingdom Hearts. The optional boss fight is insanely difficult. Sephiroth is a master swordsman wielding the legendary Masamune. He is speedy with plenty of magic attacks. Some of Sephiroth's attacks include Stigma, Shadow Flares, and Heartless Angel, an attack memorable because it drains Sora's HP to 1 and MP to 0. Sephiroth's ultimate attack is Supernova, where he summons several meteors to rain down upon the player, causing a ridiculous amount of damage if not avoided. Add his overpowered magic resistance into the mix and you can see why he is one of the most ridiculous optional bosses of all time. The platinum-haired Angel would return in Kingdom Hearts 2, though Square Enix thankfully toned down the difficulty for that game's version. A simple tip to defeat this boss is to be stocked up on healing items and at level 70 before attempting to defeat the one-winged angel. It may be tedious, but grinding out some levels will make the fight much more feasible. ORNSTEIN and SMOUGH. Dark Souls. A huge number of the levels and boss fights from Software's 2011 RPG could feasibly be on this list, but that may be a video for another time. From the second you start playing, Dark Souls is dark, fiery, and uncompromising. In what is arguably one of the most difficult games of all time, the battle with the Dragon Slayer Ornstein and the Executioner SMOUGH is the most difficult boss. That's saying something. Ornstein uses his quickness and lightning attacks to attack the player. SMOUGH, his much larger counterpart, utilizes his improbably large hammer to destroy anything in its reach. This unforgiving boss fight comes in 2 stages. If you decide to defeat Ornstein first, it will result in SMOUGH stealing his lightning ability. If you somehow kill SMOUGH first, Ornstein will absorb SMOUGH and become twice as large as he once was. Whichever option you pick, expect to be attempting this fight many, many times. A simple tip would be to eject your Dark Souls disc and play a different game. Seriously though, focus on Ornstein first as he is much easier to defeat. Then you can focus solely on SMOUGH off and his lightning powers. If you're really struggling, you could just summon a companion and get this fight over with. Alien Autopsy Part 3: The Simpsons Hit and Run. The Simpsons TV show has spawned plenty of games of varying quality, such as the Simpsons arcade game, Road Rage, the Simpsons skateboarding, and the hugely popular mobile game, The Simpsons Tapped Out. One of the better console releases is The Simpsons Hit and Run. Released in 2003, The Simpsons Hit and Run is an action-adventure game which saw you play as members of the Simpsons family while they try to solve the mystery surrounding the strange occurrences in Springfield. The final mission of the game sees you take control of Grandpa's car. First, you have to race an alien car to the power plant. Since the alien car is much quicker, you'll have to rely on shortcuts and your radical driving skills. You then have a minute to collect nuclear waste and take it to the school. At the halfway point of the mission, another alien car appears which you have to avoid. It was a very tedious final mission. However, developers Radical Entertainment made this final level so difficult players simply lost the desire to beat the game. A good tip is to memorize the shortcuts. Drill them into your brain and do not forget them because they are your only chance to complete this level. Mile High Club on Veteran Mode. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. You've completed Call of Duty 4 after a 6-hour session with that smug look of satisfaction on your face and can't wait to take on the epilogue. In this extra level, you're on an aircraft and have to fight through a large group of enemies armed to the teeth to rescue a hostage. Of course, the level is timed as well. If you actually get to the hostage, you have 5 seconds to shoot the terrorist in the head. Anywhere else and you fail the mission. If you were successful, you now have 30 seconds to evacuate the plane. This level is incredibly challenging considering there is not much room for cover on the plane and you are severely outnumbered. It may sound simple, but a good tip is to run, use cover wisely, and keep reloading. Try to stop as little as possible as there is a huge amount of ground to cover in that time. Gym Leader Whitney. Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Whitney is easily one of the most difficult gym leaders of any Pokemon game. Her rollout abusing Miltank is the stuff of nightmares. In the battle, Whitney uses a Clefairy, which is not much of a challenge. Then she will release the least likely overpowered creature in gaming history, a level 20 Miltank. Miltanks are not known for being a good Pokemon in any way, shape, or form, but Whitney must be feeding it something special. You can go into the battle with a party of Pokemon out-leveling this killer cow and may still get decimated. Miltank has incredible defense and uses nothing but rollout to decimate your party. As the rollout intensifies, you begin to realize defeat is imminent. Even if you manage to get Whitney's blasted cow's health in the red, it would use Milk Drink to restore some of its health. To make this gym leader very easy, just catch a Drowsy and trade it for a Machop and karate chop the milk out of that Miltank. Also, if you show up to the battle with a level 30 starter not named Quilava, Whitney's Pokemon won't stand a chance. AZTEC. GoldenEye 007. GoldenEye 007's first secret level, AZTEC, is not a fun time to say the least. Some believe Control is the most difficult level in GoldenEye 007, but we believe Jaws and his 2 US AR-33 assault rifles give AZTEC the win. Based on the 1979 Bond film Moonraker, gamers trying to complete AZTEC on the 00 agent difficulty must be extremely tactical in their approach. Discretion is the better part of valor, and attempting to tackle Jaws prematurely is surely a death wish, as you will get swarmed by guards. While we're on the subject, not only are the level's guards equipped with some of the best gear in the game, such as Moonraker lasers, but they also have better accuracy than any guards you have seen thus far. This insane level is considered a test to determine whether the player is ready to tackle the hardest difficulty in the game, 007. Rare is certainly doing their best to separate the men from the boys. A simple tip is to aim for the head. It takes around 15 laser headshots to take down the mighty Jaws, so make sure your marksman skills are on point when you fight it. Water Temple. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The Water Temple may sound like a nice spiritual spa retreat, but it can single-handedly stir up feelings of hatred, frustration, and disappointment among the Zelda faithful. Taking up 4 floors, this labyrinth of a dungeon combines oddly placed keys, puzzles, and annoying enemies. I'm looking at you, Clam, to give gamers a challenge. Well, it turns out that the gaming critics seem to blame the ridiculously difficult Water Temple for ruining an otherwise perfect game. Even expert Zelda players have reportedly struggled with this dungeon after multiple playthroughs. Thankfully, Nintendo toned down the difficulty for the 3DS reboot, but the scars still remain for the Nintendo 64 players. Aside from being a tricky dungeon to complete, the sheer size of the area makes completing the Water Temple feel so overwhelming. It wasn't even the final dungeon of the game. The Water Temple was followed by the Shadow Temple, which was extremely difficult in its own right. Constantly changing the water level while equipping and unequipping your iron boots quickly became so tedious and annoying that it made gamers contemplate life itself. Never ever again, Nintendo. To make this dungeon easier, use Furor's Wind to create portals when appropriate to eliminate the arduous backtracking. Supply lines, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. All of GTA's protagonists, including CJ, have risked their lives time and time again to seize better lives for themselves, but it turns out the most difficult challenges come when there are no lives at stake. The mission Supply Lines is so difficult, many gamers were convinced it was designed to be unbeatable. Zero tasks you with using the RC Baron to eliminate 5 of his rivals' couriers before they make their deliveries or before his treasured plane runs out of fuel. The plane is incredibly difficult to control and lacks durability. One crash too many and the plane will explode, forcing you to restart the entire level. There is not even one single checkpoint. The main issue with the mission is the restrictive fuel. You have to take out 5 targets and manage your fuel effectively. Getting the 3 vans, Sanchez, and BMX before your tank runs dry is a tall order. The only saving grace of Supply Lines is that the mission is optional. That being said, the mission was a painful thorn in the side of many GTA completionists. A good tip to know is that fuel consumption isn't dependent on the time of the mission. So if you glide more, you'll actually save your fuel. So you're gonna want to glide as much as possible. If you've ever been stuck on any of these levels, now is a better time than ever to try to beat them again. Let us know about any difficult video game levels and some tips to beat them easily in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with our awesome playlist. Thanks for watching.